What is going on, everybody? Welcome back, Dudes Who Bet Daily, May 18th, 2023. Just 2 days away from the Preakness. We got the NBA Conference Finals going. NHL Conference Finals kick off tonight. And I am back in the office workforce here. You got to love that, right? So big time day here. Interesting day for betting sports because there's not a ton of baseball. We've got one basketball game. We've got one hockey game. So the options a little bit limited. We had to fight over some of them today, but it all worked out. So we got some best bets coming up later. We may have Magic joining us as well. But let's start out with last night's game. We have the Heat versus the Celtics. Heat pull off the game one upset. What really was a wild third quarter. He put up 46 points in the third quarter, and then Boston says it's shot making. We didn't make enough shots. That's what cost us the game. I would argue it might have been your defense in the third quarter. Maybe just a little, right, Papa Dude?
Possibly, yeah. 46 and a quarter. Yeah, possibly. Could be you didn't guard anybody. I'm kind of kicking myself. I got that one right, and that was the best bet, but I just went with the points. I wish I'd have picked the Heat straight up, but I wasn't wishing that at halftime and the way the third quarter started. In fact, I saw, shit, I've had enough of this, and I turned it for 30 minutes. Turned back on, and my God, the Heat were ahead. I couldn't, so I was really shocked, and then they just kept the lead. The Heat are sneaky good, I'm telling you, and Boston struggles defensively sometimes, and they're 46 and a quarter on your home court. There's no excuse for that. But there was some shot making. I'll agree with that, though.
Yeah, they hit 8 threes in that quarter. It's not like they really shut them down in the first half, though. The Heat put up 32 and 29 in the first and second quarter as well. So it's not like these points just came out of nowhere for the Heat. Aaron, when I look at this matchup, and the reason why I think it's ridiculous that the Celtics were minus 600 in the series going into this is the biggest coaching mismatch we've seen in a long time in an NBA Conference Finals, right? I mean, you have Spolstra, who's the best playoff series coach in the NBA, versus Mazzulla, who I wouldn't trust to coach my 5-year-old to tie her shoes. Like, it is ridiculous how big of the gap there is here. And I think you saw that last night.
Well, what's interesting when Spolstra got hired, remember he was hired to coach that big three. And when he got hired, everybody goes, who in the hell is this guy? Yep. This is going to be a disaster. There's no way he's going to handle it.
Yeah.
And he handled it great. And now here he is back. They haven't had those great players. They've had really good players, but those great players like that he had, he's still there. And it's amazing. Like, you're right. And now, like I said, he's one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's highly regarded and has been, ever since that run. Yeah. You look at the series and there is a mismatch there for sure. But that doesn't explain all of what happened last night, guys. My God. I mean, that was just a joke on, a total fail on all systems there for the Celtics. I mean, look, this is the most inconsistent, good basketball team I think I've ever watched. Because, you can't say that they're bad. They're at this spot. They've had a great season. But they just go through stretches where you just kind of are like, what in the hell just happened? And it's like a tornado hits. And then you're left with what's left. And it's like, wow, that was a mess. So I'm with you. It is so weird what's happening right now with the Celtics. But listen, when you count them out, that's when they show up and play a big game. So I'm not going to count them out yet. But that was a disaster last night. No way around it.
My favorite Joe Mazzulla stat of the night, he threw his clipboard more times in the third quarter than he called timeout. Remind him, you're supposed to call timeout, then throw the clipboard, not throw the clipboard and then just watch your team give up 3 after 3. We got to turn those around, buddy. Come on, timeout, then throw the clipboard. You can't just keep chucking on the sidelines and think the players in the court are going to respond to that.
Right. And Aaron, back to your point about the Miami coach, remember who he succeeded? Pat Riley. And everybody thought this ain't going to work. Because a lot of, Pat Riley's a hell of a coach. A lot of times legends are not succeeded as successfully as what this has been. Yeah. And for a while, a lot of people didn't think he knew what he was doing. They really didn't. And so if you can handle the kind of guys he did, he's a good coach. They respect him. And that's the whole key in professional sports. You have to respect the head coach.
When he got hired, everyone said, oh, well, you're winning because of LeBron James, because of Dwayne Wade, right? Yeah. And since then, you've seen how good he is at in-game and game-to-game adjustments. And in a way, he's a little Belichickian, where he finds the other team's weak spot and just keeps on poking. until they break. And that's what he's been able to successfully do in series after series. You got to give him a ton of credit. Jimmy Butler, phenomenal last night as well.
Yes.
You're expecting 2 of these games. So let's go to the real question. Heat are up 1-0. Who wins the series, Papa Dude?
Ask me after the next one. We've got to see how Boston responds, I think, because Boston's good enough to go to Miami and win. I'm leaning the Heat, and I was from the start anyway. If Boston doesn't win or respond, let's say they win, but they don't play very well, they need to come out and kick their butts in this next game, I think.
Yes.
I really do.
You would expect a big-time first-half effort next time out. Right now, the series price here, the Heat are plus 180, Celtics minus 225. Aaron, who you got for the series?
I'm not going to lay 225 with the Celtics. I do think they are still the team to beat in the series, believe it or not, but I'm not laying 225. That's crazy. I would just let it play out because I think the further this goes, if it gets to a game 6, a game 7, you might get a little bit better price on that. I'm not laying 225. I do think the Celtics are still going to win this thing, though.
You're going to get 2 Jimmy Butler games. The Celtics need to win one of the 2. They lost
Absolutely.
game 1. They've got it. He's going to go off one more time. If they can win that game, they are in very good shape in this series. I just don't know if I trust Missoula in a game 7 against both. That's my biggest issue. The deeper in this series we get, the more that coaching advantage, I think, rears its head. So I'm not touching this thing with a 10-foot pole. I had the Heat last night. I probably am going to look back at the Heat in game 2 if we're catching that type of number again. Right now it's 9 for the Heat.
Why?
Way too high. Way too high.
How could that possibly be 9? I don't get it.
Because people are going to think of what Papa Dude you just said and what Somich just said. Huge effort from the Celtics. Now they're mad. Look, if you think the Heat are comparable to them, you just play the plus.
Bet it.
Yeah.
Where was that huge effort last night? That's what gets me. I don't understand that. They should have had a huge effort last night, shouldn't they?
That you should have. And the other theory is, and this has been solid in the NBA playoffs. If the home team loses game 1, they've covered game 2 consistently.
That's true.
And you'd see the road team happy to get one of the 2.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this Heat team is going to be happy to get one of the 2
No.
going into game 2. They seem to have that mantra of we want to step on your throat right now and try and finish the series as fast as
I'm not saying the Celtics shouldn't be favored, but 9?
Yeah.
No.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it feels a little bit more like it should be 4.5 range,
Exactly.
somewhere in that 2 possession range versus a 10-point win for the Celtics to cover.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump over to the Lakers and the Nuggets. Nuggets blew out the Lakers in the first half. The Lakers had a monster second half, end up covering the 6.5, losing by 6. Thank God we didn't foul in the last seconds there. I appreciate that, guys. Now it's 5.5 here for game 2. The Lakers really would love to steal one of these 2, but this seems like a tough spot for them. Total sitting at 227 after they flew over the total in the first game. Aaron, we'll start with you. What do you think of tonight's game? You playing anything?
I think the Lakers cover this game. I'm not going to play it, but I do think the Lakers will cover this game. I think the Nuggets are going to win a close one. I didn't like how the Nuggets finished it off in game 1. I don't know. I just have a feeling the Lakers are going to make this close and they're going to play well tonight. So give me the Lakers plus the 5.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on this game because I feel like if this is a close game at half, the Nuggets have a huge edge in the second half. Because if it plays out that way, you've got a high altitude second game of the 2 games. The Lakers put an all-in effort in that first game to come up short. You had LeBron, you had AD playing the entire time. AD has been every other day Davis right now, where he shows up in one game and then completely out of it the next game. He needs to show up big here. He needs to put up that 40 level again for them to be competitive in this spot. I can't take the 5.5. I wanted to take the Lakers plus the 5.5, but I have too many concerns about them falling apart at some point in this game. Papa, did you go with anything here?
I'm really agreeing with you. I can't take them either. There's something about them I don't like. I don't know what it is. I think, and I don't want to criticize LeBron because everybody else does, but I just don't think he's got that anymore. I just don't think he can. I'm not saying he's not great because he is. I just don't think he can make that shot. You got to. Have you ever seen him lose the ball like he did on that last possession in the lane? Did you see that? Austin Reeves threw him the ball, and he was inside in the lane, and he lost the ball.
Yep.
I've never seen him do that. He may miss the shot, but I've never seen him lose the ball like that. And I think you may hit the nail on the head, Mike. He's got to come back in 2 days. He's got a lot of miles on that freight train of a body of his. I tell you, he does. And Davis he's older too. So the Nuggets should blow them out tonight, I think. I would be concerned if they don't. So this is a game the Lakers got to have, though. They got to win this one.
It definitely feels like a good spot for the Nuggets.
It does.
And it's in the chat, people, what the over flew over. We talked about that a little bit. Rob asking, is the over a safe bet? My best bet's going to come from this game as an over, but not necessarily what you made, not the game over. I think this is over in Denver, under in LA. I think when they go back to LA, you're going to see a little bit more of defensive battle, especially if this number floats up higher. We're seeing 227. It gets up to around 230 in LA. I'm probably looking at the under if it opens somewhere in that range. And you'd get that if they go way over the total here tonight. Either way, big game here for the Lakers. Going to be interesting to see how big of an effort they're able to put forth to try and get the job done there. All right, let's head over to the NHL. We've got the Panthers taking on the Hurricane. Hurricane minus 145. Total sitting at 5.5 for this game. Aaron, I got to start with you because you're pretty much the biggest Panther fan I know at this point, just playing them game after game after game, and it's been very profitable to do so far. But now they're going to Carolina, who has looked very good. Are you still riding with the Panthers here, or are you going to go back to the Hurricane?
Absolutely the Panthers. If you keep giving me plus money on the Panthers, I'm just going to take it. I'm sorry. If I miss like 8 in a row with the Panthers at plus money, I'm still up for the playoff season with them. It's unbelievable. Hey, Magic, it's unbelievable that the Panthers are still going to be plus money. Plus money again tonight. Look, I got respect for Carolina. I've got respect for Carolina's home advantage. I know it's big, but Panthers went into Boston. No trouble winning. Panthers went into Toronto. No trouble winning. I think this is an easier spot than those two places. Give me the Panthers tonight. I really like them. I think they're the best team in the league right now. I'm going to ride with them. Plus money for the Panthers. Give it to me.
It's up to plus 130 now, so that's kind of nice. It's floated up a little bit versus floating down. We always talk about unders in the playoffs. I have a feeling this actually might be an under series, which is something we have not seen a lot of. The Panthers have put up a lot of goals. The Hurricanes are really disciplined 5-on-5. Bobrovsky's been playing well. The Hurricanes' offense is a little bit down based on who's been out. I looked long and hard at the first period under a goal and a half here because you kind of feel like you're going to see a press from the Hurricanes early. The Panthers aren't going to get a big shot at putting offense on in the first period. Both these teams are a little more disciplined than what we've seen, say, out the penalty box as well. I agree on the Panthers side. I think that if you're going to bet this game, you bet the Panthers. I don't want to lay it with the Canes. I kind of like that under first period a little bit. Magic, any thoughts here? Panthers, Hurricanes.
Panthers, baby. I think if there's a chance that you want to try and play Carolina, I think game 2 is when you play the Hurricanes. I think game 1, the Panthers are going to come out, going to scratch the shit out of a Hurricane, which I don't know how you do it. You just whip around those claws in there and get it in there. But yeah, give me Sergei Bobrovsky all day.
Whip around those claws and get it in there, Papa dude. Yeah,
they're going to get close to a Hurricane. Even a Panther's not going to get close to a Hurricane. They're going to run like hell.
They live in Hurricane country. They're used to it.
There ain't going to be no scratching going on. But I'm with you guys. I have to take the Panthers at the plus money, but I'm higher on the Hurricanes than I think most of you guys are. I am very, very – this is a team I think can beat Florida. But I can't bet them at minus 145. There's no way. I like that under in the first period as well. I think we're looking 1-0 maybe in the first, or 0-0. I think this will be a knock your socks off first period for sure. Should be a great game.
Should be some feeling out period here. It's going to be really interesting to see the first 10 minutes of this game. The Hurricanes should push like crazy. We consistently see that in the NHL, especially in game 1s, especially at home. The home team plays really well in the first 10 minutes. If the Canes are up 1-0 after 10, kind of like the idea of playing the Panthers back at it, like plus 215, 220, 310, somewhere in that range, right? Where you can get a nice price on the Panthers down 1-0 after the first 10 minutes, where you kind of expect the Hurricanes are going to play a little bit better. All right, let's talk about some horses here. We've got 2 things we're going to talk about before jumping into the best bets. The first one, the race of the day, headed out to Belmont. Nice little 7-furlong sprint here with a couple horses that I find wildly interesting in this spot. The 2-horse Miss Green is a horse that I consistently was betting last year when she was in Linda Rice's barn. This horse was in a key race at Saratoga, horses ran well out of that race. You've got a Chad Brown coming back here. A lot of different ways to go. Aaron, where'd you end up on top?
Yeah, it's a fun race for sure. You picked a good one here. I debated on this one for a while. I ended up going back to Chad Brown at the end of the day, though. Number 6, Bahamian Club for me. Look, the horse 2-back won a pretty similar race to this at Saratoga. Last time out in the Pebbles Stakes, got beat by Faith and Humanity, Gina Romantica, 2 comeback winners. So I thought I'm going to give the number 6 Bahamian Club the nod today on top. Coming back from a layoff, but we talk about this a lot. Sometimes that's a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. And with Chad Brown, usually they really fire off layoffs with big efforts. So give me the 6 here. I do like the horse you talked about there for Linda or for
Mark Cassie.
Linda Rice.
Mark Cassie now.
Oh, Mark Cassie now, the 1. That's what threw me off. Mrs. Green, I do like that horse coming back. I like the 2 Miss Carol Ann second or first off the layoff as well, coming out of that same race, the Pebbles. So I went 6, 2, and 1 in this spot.
Yeah, I looked at Miss Carol Ann a long time. Ran 6th in that Pebble. I thought needed the race. It was at a mile. She's actually 2 for 6 at 7 furlongs overseas. So, the distance is probably better for her at 7 than the mile that she went that day. So I think the 2 Miss Carol Ann's awfully interesting. I think Breeze Easy is really interesting, getting back to the turf now after going over and running at Woodbine, getting a win there on the synthetic. But I'm going to go to Regal Realm on top, the 8 horse, Jonathan Thomas, Jose Ortiz. There's just not a lot of speed in here. And when you go through it and how Jose Ortiz has been riding, it feels like Regal Realm gets the lead. And if Regal Realm gets the lead and gets loose, this Belmont turf course is playing very well to speed right now, especially at those 6 furlong, 7 furlong distances. I think she gets brave up top. The last race, a little bit of an anomaly. That buyer came back high. I don't believe that was an actually accurate buyer. But I also don't think it's going to take an 89 to win this race. I think it takes like an 85, 86, somewhere in that range, which is more realistic to what I think that should have been. So I'll take the lone speed with Regal Realm here, 4-1 on top. I think Jose Ortiz sends and never looks back. Magic, who you got?
Boy, you guys touched on a lot of horses that I like here. I'm going to go with one of a price. I like all the horses you mentioned. I actually would have this probably 6-2, but I'm going to go. I also like the 6-9 Exacta, and I actually do, not just the number. I do like the 9 Sail By here, 12-1. A filly that she won her debut going 6 furlongs over the inner turf course here at Belmont. Every single race since then has been a stakes or a graded stakes, and a couple of those have been on dirt. And I think that getting back onto getting down to an allowance race for the first time is going to do her really well. She did have another win in the inner turf going 2 turns in the Grade 2 Miss Grillo. She wasn't terrible in her 3-year-old debut last year. I think she just needs this class break, and I think that she's been keeping such good company. I think she's really sneaky, the 9 horse, and I think you talked about there's not a ton of speed. The 5 may or may not go. You don't know. The 1 from the rail might go. The 8, I assume, is going to go. I don't like the 8 necessarily because she doesn't pass horses. So if she doesn't get the lead, I don't think she's going to hold on. I think the 9 is going to set a nice trip behind them, and hopefully this class drop helps her out a lot.
Hopefully she can sail by, right, Magic? It's funny. We haven't even mentioned the 7 Wonka, who Dr. Tang brought up. I actually looked at Wonka for a while too. It's a Mott Alvarado horse that should sit right off the pace. I think is if we can show a little bit more speed today, I think really dangerous as well, but needs to take a step forward. We talked about pretty much every horse, Papa Dude. How you
That's
picking?
right. So I'll make it real quick. I like the 6 on top. Give me the 1 and then the 8. 6-1-8 for me.
There we go. 6-1-8 for Papa Dude. I'm going to be on the 8, Magic the 9, Aaron taking the 6. All right, let's flip over to the Preakness. We're just 2 days away from the second jewel of the Triple Crown, which is the 5th most coveted 3-year-old race, just reminding everybody. Not really much updates right now. I mean, it looks like everyone's still good to go. Everyone is training better than they ever have. Mage looks exceptional, taking a bath. 2 days away, Aaron. How are you feeling about this race?
I mean, what is there to really say? It seems pretty straightforward. It seems pretty much okay. Mage is there. He's doing well. If he runs his race, he probably should win. If he doesn't run his race, seems like that could get a little bit funky, right? So I think all systems are go. I mean, there's no signs. There rarely is, but there's no signs that he's going to bounce or not run very well. He's there. He's ready. We have a lack of news, which is good after the Derby, where it was mostly bad news every day of that week. So I feel pretty good about how it's shaping up.
It's It's a big 2 days worth of bankroll spending. I think there's 5 pick 5s each
Yes.
day, and there's like 4 pick 4s. Every other race starts a pick 4 or pick 5 basically on these 14 race cards. And I love that they end the weekend, Magic, with some Arabians. Who do you like in the Arabian race on Saturday, Magic?
Oh, we talked about this yesterday. Give me the old guy, 10-year-old Quicksand AA. I've been waiting for this horse to win that stinking race for 3 years in a row. He's due. He's finally due. Give me the old veteran, Quicksand AA.
Just a quick note to Stronach Group. If you're trying to keep people at the track after the Preakness, so it's not as much of a train wreck leaving, maybe don't run an Arabian race right after. Papa, dude, that doesn't make much sense.
No, there's several. What's the deal? There's several of them. This is probably going to be a stupid question that have AA at the end of their name. Is that?
It's a breeding thing. It's why every harness horse has got Hanover somewhere in the name. It's just a breeding thing.
Yeah,
it's an Arabian thing.
Yeah, as you see RB a lot, you see AA a lot. There's different acronyms for different barns.
I was just wondering. On the Preakness, don't you guys pretty much agree if Mage can come back, it's his to win, right?
Yeah.
Don't we pretty much agree that that's the big question? Can he come back on 2 weeks?
90%
I think
of
it
that
is. I mean,
wins.
And National Treasure is kind of interesting to me a little bit. Ran in a lot of big races, So I didn't think it's Mage's if he can come back. That's the whole issue. Can he come back on 2 weeks?
Going to be interesting to see who gets the lead.
Yeah.
The last time National Treasure got the lead was his maiden breaking race. He should get the lead from the one post, and we'll see if that makes a difference, Aaron. I know we were both interested. We both watched the replays. This horse is goofy as hell. Like, you don't get the efforts that you watch. You look at the paper, and you're like, oh, that's a good effort. Oh, that's a good effort. You watch the race, and it's like, he didn't run the whole race. Did you run the whole race?
That's, you know what? You hit it right on the head. I was going to say it, whether it be today on this show or somewhere on this show. I think you call him a paper tiger, don't you, Somich? Isn't that your word or your phrase? Because you're right. We were talking, you and I, Magic, and I was like, you know what, this National Treasure, you look at this, it's like he looks pretty good on paper. You watch those replays and you're like, there is not one spot where you can watch one of his replays and go, yeah, I think he can win the Preakness. He just hasn't looked very good in his races, and it's almost like he's earning those numbers running behind really good horses. And it's just like a number falls in his lap because he was behind a horse that ran really well. I don't see it, and I'm with you. It's like, I want to try to beat Mage. I want to try to get creative, but God, you watch Mage's lap, forget about the Derby, watch his Florida Derby, and then watch all of National Treasure's races. And you go, National Treasure's not beating that horse if he runs that. I mean, he has no second gear. He's just kind of running around in the same speed. He's going to have to really improve to beat Mage if Mage shows up. That's where I'm at with him.
He's got to get the lead. If he does not get the lead, zero chance of winning the race.
But dude, if you're on the lead and you have no acceleration, you're still not going to win most of the time if there's a decent horse behind you. That's my he's going to have to get the lead, and he's going to have to hope that horses don't fire behind him. Then he can win for sure.
The one positive I will say, I do think he had the worst trip in the Santa Anita Derby. He was running the best late in the Santa Anita Derby. And so if you go back and watch it, he was closing ground the last eighth of a mile, and those other three horses were going up and down.
He was closing ground, sort of. That's the problem. Like, there was no kind of it was basically like three horses are in a battle and they're all battling, and then there's this one behind him, and he's sort of kind of trying to make up some ground. That's how it's not what you said is not inaccurate. He was making up ground, but Somich, it wasn't very fast.
I never said anything about fast. I just said he was going the best at the end of that race. That could be a detriment on the three horses in front of him who weren't going very well as well.
Fair. Both, all good comments. Yeah.
Magic. If people are looking for this type of banner, when are we going to be live? Tomorrow and Saturday?
We're going to be live. I didn't write it down on here. Yes, I did. 2 to 3 Pacific on Friday, and then 1 to 4-ish, 4:15 probably, Pacific on Saturday.
So come check out live shows there for the Preakness races, or I should say the Pimlico races, the Black-Eyed Susan on Friday, which we haven't talked about. Excited to talk about that one tomorrow because that is wide open if you want to fade Feza, and the Preakness there on Sunday. All right, let's jump into the best bets. I'll go first. I teased this a little bit earlier. I am going to go to an over, but I'm going to take the Nuggets over 116 points in the game today. To me, this is one of those spots where I don't trust this Lakers defense. I think this is going to be a tired Lakers team, specifically in the second half. If I could save my best bet for over Nuggets second half or Nuggets -3, whatever it is, second half, that would be where I would be going. But since we're putting these bets before the game, give me the Nuggets over 116 points in the game. I think you're going to see a tired Lakers team tonight. I think the Nuggets are going to get some good shots because that's what you do when you have Jokic. So I'll take that Nuggets over 116 points. And Magic, you're kind of on the same wavelength. You're just going with a player prop.
Yeah, that if you and I cash, I think it's because Aaron Gordon is going to help do this. And this guy in his last 5 games, he scored 12 points, 8 points, 9 points, 11 points, 10 points. He keeps just missing this 13-point threshold. He averaged 13.5 in the series against Minnesota. He was against Phoenix. He had 23 points. He had 16 points. He was the only starter that shot sub 500 in game 1. He was like 4 for 8 from the free throw line. He just had a bad game. I think that the Lakers are going to focus a lot more on the Joker because of what happened in game 1. Should open up for other guys like Aaron Gordon. We're not asking for a lot. We're asking for 14 points here. That's all we need from Aaron Gordon. He should be able to get there, and I think that because the trend has been so poor for him lately and in his last 5 games, we're getting plus 100 on the VIX. So I love that as well. So yeah, I'm with you. We'll get a lot of offense, and hopefully Aaron Gordon's part of that for the Nuggets.
I looked long and hard at Michael Porter Jr., who, if they decide to put Rui Hachimura on Jokic, that means that you're going to have wide open people on the outside, and that leads to 3-point shooters. And so I felt that if you want to play someone as well, I thought Michael Porter Jr. made a ton of sense there. I expect he's going to get some pretty open threes in this game based off the defensive changes the Lakers made in the second half. All right, Papa Dude, you're the one who's getting adventurous and heading to the diamond. Tell us who you like.
That's true. There's not much to bet today. So I went with a couple of home teams that I feel like have the pitching edge in games. The first one starts here in just a minute or two. The Orioles are at home to play the Angels. A lot of people won't realize how good the O's are. They're pretty daggum good. They'd be in first place in every division except the one they're in. And they've got the pitching matchup superiority today over the Angels. The Angels have been on a road trip for a while. I think they're a little tired. So I'm going to go with that one. I think I'll get this one. The next one's a little sketchy because the White Sox suck. But my boy Dylan Cease is going. He's not having quite the year he had last year. It was great his last outing, though. He's at home. He pitches well at home. And going up against a Cleveland team, this offense is very anemic. So I'm going to go Orioles, White Sox. We get good value here at plus 171. And these games are in the afternoon, and I can get it over with.
Yeah, wild that you have the White Sox Guardians with 2 pitchers over 4 ERAs, and the total is 7.5. It tells you how bad the Guardians offense has been the last couple weeks. Yeah. Aaron, we all know you're taking
Panthers. That's right. Gonna go with the Panthers. Not gonna go against them when they're plus money. That much I can promise you. So I'll take the Florida Panthers tonight. Listen, I think they've beaten 2 teams that are at worst just as good as Carolina, and they've done it fairly easily. Bobrovsky's the key. If he keeps playing like that, I don't think they're losing. So give me the Panthers plus that 125.
I love it. Looking forward to tomorrow's show. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk Black-Eyed Susan. We're going to talk that Pimlico card, which may even start by the time we do the show. What is it? Is it 10:30 or 11:30 tomorrow Eastern? I think it's 11:30 Eastern tomorrow. So 8:30 a.m. starts. The second race will go off right around then, which is like the 5th pick 5 on the card. So make sure you check out racingdudes.com for all the picks over there. We'll have it covered with the Somobombs, with the Rockets, with the free picks, and with the guide for the Preakness. Should be a lot of fun over those 2 days. Let's go over the best bets, and then we will jump off here. I'm going to take the Nuggets over 116. Magic taking Aaron Gordon over 13 points. Papa Dude, O's, and White Sox plus 171. And Aaron taking the Panthers plus 125. 2-2 for the week, down $10, down $530 for the year. Well, we're about to make a run, so let's have a good time with this. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Good luck today with all of your bets. We will see you all tomorrow.